Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to what might be a fireside chat video. I'm not sure. I've been struggling with today's Galactic Battle results. This video is filmed later that night. We had the Galactic Battle finals. Probably going to drop this next week, but I've got to do a lot of research. Hopefully I'll have that research done by the time this goes live. But it's very obvious that in the current meta, and what we do on this channel is we hunt down the game meta, we get to the bottom of it, and then we innovate. Right? Once we figure out the whole thing, we quantify it, we put it at it, we put it under a microscope and say, this is how it works. How do we break it? That's what we do on this channel. I guess that's that's one of my favorite things. And right now, I am just like a hound dog on Infantry. It's so obvious right now that Vega is the de facto offense airship comm. He just hits super hard. He's got breakdown Gemini combo. One slot bust is amazing. Full march is amazing. But Vega can be beaten. He gets beaten by the other airship commander. Rogers, right? Rogers goes defensive stance, goes immune. Works great with the tier 12 airships that are already in the game. HP gear is good on him. Don't have to do anything crazy here. You can, you can do a different awakenings and gem setups, but at the end of the day, it's Vega airships offense, Rogers airships defense. Makes sense. Rogers beats everyone except for Full Metal. Full Metal's that weird Walker commander who can actually debuff Rogers' defensive stance, so he can't be immune anymore. Now, Full Metal is amazing at Rogers and Reinhardt, but he's terrible at everyone else. Even Elf can beat him up pretty good. The idea for Full Metal was that he was like the counter to the defense comms, but he still gets beat up by Elf pretty good, and he gets absolutely wrecked by the offense commanders. But Full Metal, utility counter commander to the biggest commander in the game, Rogers, and then Elf. Elf, the defensive commander for Walkers, does a lot of healing on her own troops and then cursing or spell damage to her opponent's troops. But also, if you put some guaranteed hit gems on her and a bunch of HP, she can do tear space damage. So she's a viable commander as well. They stick out. Rogers, Vega, right? Elf, Full Metal. There is no offensive commander for Walkers, true offensive. You can say Pkwy with HP gear and tear space can do a lot of damage. He can. We just haven't seen it really arise to the meta compared to what Elf and Full Metal provide. But that leaves us the infantry class. Who in the infantry class really stands out? Well, it's obvious. Gilly, right? She is like the Vega of infantry. Nonviolent resistance, 40% chance, ignores stats, hits hard. Ignores gems in the first round. Put a Virgo on her, she's amazing. But she really can't beat Rogers in a fair fight, and she's gonna go toe to toe with like Vega, and she's gonna take a lot of losses. Elf's gonna beat the crap out of her, and she'll do okay. She'll beat Full Metal. She'll always beat Full Metal, but that's it. As far as the meta's concerned, she's not great against Rogers. She's not great against Vega. She's great against Full Metal, but who isn't? And Elf beats her up. We need a defense comm for infantry. And you say, well, infantry's more offensive and versatile, and they're more like hard to hit. That's what Plasma, or that's what Robin was supposed to be. Robin was supposed to be the missing link. They even buffed him. Remember that patch they did where they buffed, they buffed Lady and Beast, they buffed Full Metal, and they buffed Robin. And what did we get out of it? Well, definitely Lady and Beast got a little bit better. She got like a 80% guaranteed hit skill. But no one uses her because her skill doesn't crit like King's skill, so she got passed. But Robin's chain, 60% chance to basically disable your opponent's skills, including tear space. They still get to attack, but they're going to miss because you're going to have some dodge gear. And he could disable the front row, and it worked really good against Rogers, but not great. And with tier 12, not great enough. Rogers still wrecked Robin, even though it should have been a little more even. And it was close, but at the end of the day, we decided that Reinhardt was a better counter to Rogers than Robin was, and then Full Metal beats everyone. But it goes back to the main argument about what this video is about. What are they doing with the infantry class? Seriously, what are they doing? Plasma is absolutely terrible now. He just doesn't have the damage on his attack to make his Quantum Blast blow up. So even though his evasive skill can beat Rogers, it never hits hard enough to do any damage. And that's the problem with Robin. He has a guaranteed hit skill, but it's Libra. It's the ambush riposte. So if he triggers it, someone attacks him, he triggers attack back, but it doesn't trigger tear space, doesn't hit very hard, doesn't crit. And then he has a disable skill. He needs a ton of damage. Sagittarius isn't enough. And if you stack a bunch of HP gear on him to have his Terror Space hit hard, that's fine. But other commanders have guaranteed hits too. And they're going to hit him. Even if he disables Roger's front row, and if you put Andromeda on him and make the other opponent's front row skip their turn, they're still going to have a back row that's going to be wrecking him because he's an infantry class, right? So that's kind of where we're at in this off season of the Galactic Battle Season 8 into Season 9. Trying to figure out what the developers are going to do for infantry. We thought that one day maybe Thunder Ray might get a buff, right? He was kind of cool. He like ramps up. He's kind of like a Galileo. I think, what did he do? He never did the heal. Troops attack and accuracy, yeah, damage, and then attack is decreased. Opponents, yeah, stack a Virgo and an Aries on Thunder Ray. You can greatly diminish your opponent's attack and buff your own, but Terror Space ignores all of that. So, no, we just need a new infantry comm. Echo was like an idea, right? But his buff only lasts one turn, and the attack bonus wasn't that good. The heal was okay. It was okay, but it doesn't trigger off Terror Space. We're missing the infantry comm. Stella was good, which she could trigger a bunch of gems, especially if she has 4 sets of gems, right? Virgo, Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini. Stella's a monster, but yeah, you kind of have to rock a lot of HP gear in Terror Space or the new Infantry Tier Plus with a ton of damage and shields. Still haven't seen her shine. Odad had a cool penetration build with her for a while, but he just abandoned it eventually because it wasn't good enough. It just wasn't enough. So infantry needs a defense comm. I don't know if they need to give infantry a heal, because maybe it's time that infantry gets a heal instead of these silly shields like Lilith gets. Or maybe it's time to buff Robin to 80% disable. And maybe that's too good. I don't know. But I think we're at a point in the game where infantry needs a buff. Because right now it's either Gilly or Neko, and it's basically the same commander. Or Elixir and Stella, which isn't really viable for super late game primary commanders. So, I don't know. What do you think? Am I missing anything? Are there any commanders you think are up and coming? Ichiro had the chance to like disable all their defense and get some hard hits in, but never really shined. Or Fabian, sorry, not Ichiro, Fabian. What do the devs need to do? Who do they need to buff? Do you have any great ideas? Because I think in this offseason, we need to decide what to do with infantry. Because one slot bust infantry, Gilly Neko, is getting old. We need a new meta. We need a new counter. We need something. All right. We don't need to do a fireside chat. Just an infantry rant. All right, guys. Let me know in the comments below if I missed anything. Or if you have any great ideas. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.